Jambo, 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 jambo. How are you today? I'm so happy to have you here again, once again. Welcome to the best Kiswahili channel, Kiswahili learning channel. It is the Swahili Age with Kabaka Diana, and I'm your expert, your resident Swahili teacher, Kabaka Diana. So, how have you been since the last live? We had the last live in the last month. Now we are having a new month. Happy new month. Happy new month of August. 2025 is quickly running out. Just 4 months to go. I wonder if you're still on course with your goals for the year, and how far are you with your plans? Are you following your plan? Did you abandon your plan along the way? Let me know in the comment section. How far are you with your plans for the year? If you decided to make new plans for the year began and so on. Well, anyway, it is August, and the Kiswahili word for August is Agosti. Agosti. So, well, before we even delve into our lesson today, which we are going to talk about the basics of Swahili grammar. Today, I want us to talk. Let me just give you um, a brief about the months in Kiswahili. I'll make a video of that later. But the months in Kiswahili, the months in Kiswahili are just like the English months. So what happens is they just add an I after the month, the particular name of the month in English. So when you're talking about Agosti, you've just actually, if you can use this vocabulary, Swahilified the English version of August, which is now in Kiswahili it becomes Agosti. So if it is January, then it becomes January. So the pronunciation becomes the Swahili version from pronunciation, and also the writing is very different from English, where the English uses Y, the Kiswahili will use I. So January, the Kiswahili will now end with I instead of Y. And then the pronunciation why it's January in Kiswahili now becomes January. And then February, it still maintains, so February. March becomes Marchi. April becomes Aprili. May becomes May. Then June becomes Juni. July becomes July. Then August, where we are today, becomes Agosti. September just remains September. And then now instead of ER, then you end with an A. And then October becomes October. So instead of a C, October, instead of a CT becomes OKT, October. Yeah. So November is just November, and then December is December. Or alternatively, you can now use the numbers to count the month. So you'll say mwezi wa kwanza, wa pili, wa tatu, wa nne, wa tano, wa sita, and then wa nane, where we are. So I can simply say karibu katika mwezi wa nane. In my videos and even in our previous lives, when I was talking about the phrases that you need to know for you to be able to speak like a pro, in that live I talked about some of the common greetings, and one of them was karibu. So when I say karibu katika mwezi wa nane, I'm simply meaning welcome to August. Yeah. So that is that on our introduction today. So welcome if you're joining us. If you see this live later, welcome so much. Thank you for joining us. This is the Swahili Age with Kabaka Diana. And like I said, today we want to talk about the basics of Kiswahili or Swahili grammar. So we can't talk about grammar or sarufi in Kiswahili without mentioning a few things that I'm going to mention. Some of them I will talk about them in this live. Another one I'll talk about in the subsequent lives. So one thing that you need to know when you're talking about Swahili grammar is what the Swahili themselves call, or what the Swahili themselves call ngeli, or verb conjugation. So, well, you can't be able to speak fluent Kiswahili if you don't know the ngeli in Kiswahili, or the noun clauses in Kiswahili. Sorry, the ngeli is the noun clauses, and these noun classes are the ones that help you actually conjugate the verbs, because you can't conjugate the verbs without the nouns, the noun classes, and the noun classes are the ones that determine whether you're speaking fluent Swahili or not. So we'll talk about the noun classes, we'll talk about the verb conjugation, we'll talk about the formation of a Swahili sentence. You talk about the tenses in Kiswahili. You talk about the type of words in Kiswahili, just what we call aina za maneno, because in Kiswahili, or rather the foundation of Kiswahili grammar is made up of 4 key components. That is the sauti, which is what we call the alphabet. Then there is silabi, the syllables. Then there is neno, which is a word. And then finally, sentensi, which is the sentence. So before you come up with a sentence, you need to have all these components of this sentence. And for you to be able to speak like I'm speaking to you in English, you'll need to speak in Kiswahili sentences. And so for you to form these Kiswahili sentences, then you need to know, first of all, the alphabet that I think I've mentioned in my previous videos. And then you will need to also talk about the syllables, because it is the alphabet, the sounds that form the syllables, and the syllables that form the words, and the words that form the sentence. And so for you to have now what you call a complete Swahili sentence, then you need to have certain words in that sentence. And so those words are what we are calling the words are now classified into the noun classes. And that is what we're also going to look at, just a few of them, the common ones in this live, and then the rest we can look at them in subsequent lives. So like I was saying, if I've not mentioned, then let me just mention in passing, the Kiswahili sounds are made up of the vowels and the consonants. And the vowels are just like the English ones, the 5 vowels, that is A, E, O, U. And then the consonants are also like the English consonants, except the Kiswahili has an addition of other consonants, and also it doesn't have X and Q. So Kiswahili doesn't have X and Q, but the rest of the other consonants in the English alphabet, then Kiswahili also has. So if you know English, then you already know actually 99% of the Kiswahili consonants too. So the special consonants that I'll just mention in quick passing are consonants like cha. In English, you have C, sound k, but in Kiswahili it's cha. So you'd say cat. In Kiswahili now we say chai. And then there's another special one also, gha. This is a combination of G plus H. It forms gha. So in words like ghali for expensive, ghali for expensive. So yes. So and then another special consonant in the Kiswahili alphabet is another one called let me go to The. That is, you combine D plus H, then it becomes the. That is what you combine D plus H, you have the. That is a special consonant. And then another one, we can look at tha, that is T plus H. The, you can have a word such as dhahabu to mean gold. Then tha, a word such as thamini to mean value. And then there's also sha for shirt in English. So we have that one in Kiswahili, and it is also a consonant, and that one is from a word shati or shamba, that means garden, or shati, that means shirt in Kiswahili. We also have nya, ny, n plus y, that is nya, and that is also another special consonant. Nya for nyumba, which is house, nyama, meat, and so on and so forth. And then there's also nga. It's nasal, so it's nga. That is ng, and then there's an apostrophe for the word ng'ombe, cow, ng'ombe. And then there's also nda. I'm forgetting. Oh, there's also ng. It's not nga. This is just ngu for ngoma, when you want to say the word ngoma. Then you can have, of course, nda and d when you want to say ndo or ndogo. So those are the special consonants. And yes, so as I was mentioning, and then now when you move on to the next key component of Kiswahili sentence, so these consonants and the vowels are the ones that come together to form a syllable. So I would say you take a consonant b, and then you add an a, that would be add an a, and then it will become ba. And then when you combine ba plus ba, you get baba, which is the word for father. So my baba, my father. Yes. And then so you combine the words, then the words are the ones that will form the sentences. Baba yangu ni mwalimu. My father is a teacher. So baba yangu ni mwalimu. So that way you form a sentence. You form a sentence that is baba yangu ni mwalimu. And that sentence has what you have, what is called a noun, which is baba, and then you have a verb that is describing a possessive verb, not this, what is it called? Then you have yangu there, not a verb per se. What is it? An adjective, a possessive adjective there, and then we have ni is a verb, and then mwalimu is also a noun. Yes, so that is how you form a sentence. So a sentence can be formed with a noun, that is a noun clause and a verb clause. That is kundi nomino plus kundi tenzi. Kundi nomino plus kundi tenzi. That is what forms a sentence in Kiswahili. Yes, so that is that. That is just an introduction of what now we want to talk about, which is the basic Kiswahili grammar. And like I mentioned before, there's so much under this that you're going to mention. And like I said, this is a live, so if you have a question, if you're joining in, tell me where you're tuning in from, and you can leave a comment in the comment section. And if you've not subscribed, please subscribe. This is where you learn a lot of Kiswahili authentically from a Kiswahili teacher, native speaker from Kenya. Well, let us continue. Let us continue with our session today. So, like I said, my name is Kabaka Diana, and I am the Swahili language expert here, and also I'm an educator. And if you're learning Kiswahili for travel, business, culture, or just for fun, you're in the right place, because this is where I can call it the home of Kiswahili. And we're covering the essentials of Kiswahili grammar that every beginner needs to know. And yeah, if you can get your notebook, that will be good. Get your notebook and Let us continue. If you're watching, please say hello in the chat. Let me know where you're joining us from. And if you're watching the replay, please do not forget to subscribe, like, and leave your question in the comment section. Leave the question in the comment section. I'll answer the questions as I find them. So we begin our first lesson today with the noun class. The noun class, which is called ngeli, in Kiswahili. So Kiswahili is a Bantu language, and one of its unique features is the use of noun classes. Now, like I said, when I say it's a Bantu language, I'm simply meaning there's a lot of similarities between Kiswahili and the Bantu languages. And one of the main similarities is these noun classes. The Bantu languages like the Abaluya also has noun classes that are almost similar to the Kiswahili language. And these noun classes are like the gender or the article groups in other languages. Like the French has gender in the verb in the nouns where we have a table could be female or male. I'm not even sure of what I'm saying. But in Kiswahili now, instead of the gender or the article groups in Kiswahili we have the noun classes, and there are about 12 or to 15 noun classes. And let us now talk about the common noun classes. And just before we continue, let me you just give me a moment. Just give me a moment. Excuse me. Yeah, sorry, I was attending to something. Now let us continue with our lesson. Let's continue with our lesson today. So we're talking about the noun classes, and I've already mentioned a brief introduction to the noun classes. Now there are several noun classes, and the most common one, or the noun class that has a lot of names, a lot of nouns, is a noun class for what is known as the awa noun class. The awa noun class. This our noun class is a noun class that it is used for animals or people or things that have life. Let me just say things that have life. It could be an animal, it could be a person, it could be what is it called? Yes, an animal or a person. Those are the two things that have lives. So you could, if you're talking about a person, for example, you're talking about person, mtu. In the plural for mtu will be watu. So mtu anakuja, watu wanakuja. So and then in the plural will be wa. So that is how you get the noun class, the wa noun class. This noun class was also referred to the mwa for mtu watu. But then now that school of thought is was or rather there's a school of thought. There's a school of thought that subscribes to the Mua class, but then there's another school of thought that subscribes to the Awa class, because if you use Mua, then the rest of the things that have life then cannot fall in that noun class. For example, mtu, watu, that can work. Then you have something, a name like kipepeo, which is a butterfly in Kiswahili, and then the plural for kipepeo becomes vipepeo. So we can't say it is in the noun class mwa, yet kipepeo or a butterfly has life. So then therefore I personally subscribe to the school of thought of the awa noun class. But under the hour noun class, then you can have several groups of things of things that fall under the hour noun class. And one of them is nouns that have the structure that begin with m in the what, in the singular, and wa in the plural, that is like mtu, watu. And then there is another one like kivi, the ones are an example of kipepeo and vipepeo. And then you can have kipofu and vipofu. Kipofu simply means blind, so if there are two blind people, then you can say vipofu. And then you can also have another one in the same as the hour noun class. If you're talking about, for example, which example can I use? Mwalimu, walimu. See, realize that it becomes wa. Or mtume, then mtume is a prophet. The plural for mtume will be mitume, still under the hour noun class. That doesn't begin with mua, so that becomes tume, mitume. That is, we're just talking about a prophet, and so on and so forth. So basically what you need to remember is the awa. So anything that has life, when you're making a sentence out of it, if it has life, if it's a butterfly, if it is a cow, ng'ombe, if it is a goat, if it is a lion, maybe you've gone to the park, if it is a fish you've seen in the ocean, you say samaki anaogelea. Samaki, because it is fish and it has life. It is a lion, you would say simba anatembea. It is a lion, the lion is walking. It is a lion and it has life. So that is the most important thing to remember. If it is in singular, then it is a. If it is in plural, then it is wa. That is the mwa noun class. The next noun class that is also very common is the kivi noun class. The kivi noun class. This one has is noun class for things that don't have life, but very common things, that you'll find in your day-to-day life, like book. The Kiswahili name for book is kitabu. Then there is kiti, that is which is a chair. So kitabu, the singular, then the plural will be kitabu, vitabu. So if you make a sentence, it would be kitabu kimeraruka. Kitabu, the book is torn. Kitabu kimeraruka. And then the plural will be vitabu vimeraruka. Yeah. And then if it is kiti kimevunjika, the chair is broken, then it would be viti vimevunjika. Viti vimevunjika. Yes, so that is the kivi. And then under the kivi, there's also a group of nouns that don't belong with don't begin with kivi in plural and in singular. These ones they begin with the ch, the cha that I was talking about, and then the plural will be vy, via. So if it is again, like I said, you have to be very careful. If it has life, it will fall in the our noun class. But if it doesn't have life, then it will fall in the kivi noun class. For example, chuma, that is a metal. Metal in Kiswahili is called chuma. In the plural for chuma is vyuma. Vyuma. Chuma, vyuma. What else? Chama. Chama cha Kiswahili. Chama is a club. or an organization. Chama cha Kiswahili. The plural will be vyama vya Kiswahili. So cha vya. So the key V noun class has nouns, or rather words that begin with ki in singular and end with v and also v in plural, and then also others that begin with ch in singular and view in plural. That is the key V noun class. Another very common one is easy. These ones are words that are not originally from the Kiswahili. These are mostly borrowed words. Mostly borrowed words take this one, fall under this noun class. Easy. Ndo hii ni yangu. This is my bucket. Ndo hizi ni zangu. That is the easy noun class. I'll be back shortly. Let me just attend to my baby. Yes, so we're talking about the easy noun class. So, like I was saying, most of the borrowed words fall under this. And one thing about these words that fall under this easy noun class, they're the words that in singular, you'll not find them beginning with a similar syllable or something. So, for example, you can have a word like ndo, and then you can have another one like kalamu. You see, kalamu imepotea, kalamu zimepotea. In plural and singular, they begin, they are similar, they don't change. Ndo. You will not have vindo or something. You just say ndo. And then if it is rinda, and that one doesn't fall here. So easy. Like I said, these ones are those ones that in singular and plural they remain the same. They do not change in any way or in any form. They will fall under the easy noun class. And like I said, another way you can quickly know, or rather, you can quickly know these words or these nouns. They are those ones that um, are mostly borrowed. One day I'll also be telling you how to know if a word is borrowed in Kiswahili language or from another language, or if it is an original Swahili word. Well, another very common noun class is the liya. The liya noun class. So these ones, again, it has the way the words are formed. I'll not go into it, but I'll just give examples. For example, yai, that is an egg. Yai limepasuka, and then the plural will be mayai yamepasuka. Then there is gari, which is a car. Gari litanunuliwa, magari yatanunuliwa. So you notice, or let me give another one. Tunda litaliwa, matunda yataliwa. Jino limetolewa, meno yatatolewa. Embe limeanguka, maembe yameanguka. So you notice that these particular sentences, the noun begins the way it was. Rather, the nouns, the singular part of this noun doesn't take as a noun clause before it, but then the plural, it will take a noun clause. For example, yai, that is a singular, there's nothing there, then there is ma yai. So the aspect of the addition ma that is added there is what will make these words fall under the liya noun class. Well, if you're just a beginner Kiswahili student, and you're finding that these are very complex, do not worry. With practice, you'll be able to grasp them, and they're very, very simple. Very, very simple once you practice them. If you're getting confused, let me know in the comment section. Let me know in the comment section if you're getting confused, or if you're following, if you're understanding also. Let me know. Let me know in the comment section if it's being helpful. Again, let me know also in the comment section whether you're joining us live right now, or you'll watch the replay of this live some other time. Well, let me know in the comment section if you're grasping the noun classes, or if you're getting confused, and so on and so forth. Well, another very common noun class, is this one that is known as the pa kumu. The pa kumu noun class. Now, this one is particularly for nouns that talk about a place. Nouns that talk about a place. For example, nyumbani or nyumbani, inside the house, yeah, in the home. Nyumbani panapendeza. Panapendeza. Nyumbani panapendeza. To mean the home is beautiful. Shimoni mna siafu. Shimoni mna siafu. Inside the hole there are ants. So simply means inside. Then pa could be general. And then Nairobi kunanyesha. Again, ku could also be general. Nairobi, it's raining in Nairobi. Nairobi kunanyesha. Yeah. So pa ku mu. This one is particularly for the places, is particularly the noun class for places. Well, another one that is again very common is the noun class that stands for things that are liquid in nature. Things that are liquid in nature that you can't slit and count them. For example, water, which is maji, maziwa, which is milk. What else? Oh, okay. Let me go with that. Marashi, which is perfume. So most of these words that are watery or liquid in nature, these ones, or chai, these ones will fall under what is known as uh not chai will not fall there. This one will fall under what is known as the noun class that is known as ya. Maji yamemwagika. In plural, just remain maji yamemwagika. And then I think the very last noun class for the day, there are so many, like I said, there are about 12 to 15. But what I'll cover today are just a few, because again, like I said, it is just basics. And what we want to talk about this very, very last one, this very, very last one. I remember mentioning chai. Chai is in the noun class of E. It is in the noun class of E. Yes, so like I said, so I can just mention the other noun classes and that I've not talked about, that we can talk about later. There is which other one have I not talked about? There is the UE, there is the EE, there is the I've talked about Kiwi. So the other ones we can still learn them in the next live or in the next video. If you want me to just make a video particularly for the noun class again, let me know in the comment section. So we'll move on to the next thing that you're learning today. And just before I finalize that, I need to say this, that each class affects how you form the verb, the adjectives, and the possessives. But for today, we're not going to delve deeper into it. We're just going to make it simple so that you're able to understand, and grasp. Okay, have you ever heard of any noun class before? If you have, then which one are you familiar with? please type in the comment section yes or no if you've ever heard of a noun class, and if you've had, which one have you ever heard of? Well, move on to a second bit of this live, and today we want to talk about the subject prefixes. The subject prefixes. Now, in Swahili, we don't always need the pronouns that is I, you, or they, but we always use the subject prefixes attached to the verb. Here are some common ones. For example, rather common subject prefixes are one like ni, ninasoma, ninasoma. I am reading, ni to stand for I. So you don't have to say, for example, mwalimu, or rather she is reading. You don't have to say who is reading particularly. You can just say ninasoma or anasoma, he or she. Instead of saying he, she, you just say anasoma. So when you say anasoma, you can't be so sure whether the person who is reading is female or male. Then there is u, that stands for you. Unasoma, wewe unasoma. So you don't need to use the wewe, unasoma. So you just use unasoma. Then there is a, that means he or she, that I've already given an example, anasoma. And then if your two of you are reading, then you'd say tunasoma Kiswahili. Like for example, right now you and I are actually learning Kiswahili, and so tunasoma, we are tuna. And then there is if it's a third party, mnasoma Kiswahili, nyinyi mnasoma Kiswahili, you are studying Kiswahili. And then finally wanasoma Kiswahili. So if you like, I've been using the example soma to explain. Ninasoma Kiswahili, I am reading Kiswahili. You unasoma Kiswahili, anasoma Kiswahili, he or she is reading Kiswahili. Tunasoma Kiswahili, we are studying Kiswahili. Mnasoma Kiswahili, nyinyi you guys mnasoma Kiswahili, you're reading Kiswahili. And then wanasoma Kiswahili. Now, are you able to make a sentence with these prefixes? It can either be ni, u, a, tu, or wa. Are you able to make a sentence with these prefixes? If you can, let me write the comment, write the sentence in the comment section. If you're still here, if you're joining us, welcome to the live. We're learning basics of Kiswahili grammar. We've learned about the noun classes, and now we're talking about the subject prefixes. Now, the subject prefixes, we've talked about the subject should mean the three persons. The first person, I, nina. Ni stands for the past. I am. So the plural of nina soma is una. Una soma. Mimi ninasoma Kiswahili. Sisi two. So ni goes with two. Mimi ninafunza Kiswahili. I am teaching Kiswahili. So if you were two teachers here, then it would be tuna. Yeah? Tunafunza Kiswahili. So me and the other teacher would be saying tunafunza Kiswahili. And then if it is the second person, wewe unasoma Kiswahili, you are reading Kiswahili. And then if you're two people over there, then it will be nyinyi wewe nyinyi mnasoma. So u and then and then there is yeye anasoma Kiswahili. Yeye the third person. She is. And then yeye, and then the plural will be wao wanasoma Kiswahili. So those are the prefixes that you've learned today, and we've also learned the noun classes. Now we're moving on so well. Another thing you're going to learn together again is the verb structure. So how do you make a verb? How do you construct a verb in Kiswahili? Now, the Kiswahili verb or the Kiswahili verbs are structured and consistent. And that is actually very good news for you as a learner, because the basic Kiswahili verb simply looks, or rather simply has the following components: the subject prefix, the ones that we just talked about, ni or u or wa or tu, that's what we call the subject prefix, which is in Kiswahili we say viwakilishi vya nafsi. And then we have the tense marker. Which tense are you talking about? And then the verb root, and then the suffix if it is needed. The tense, if it is now, if it is previously, or if it is later. Now the tense will be na. Ninafunza. I am teaching right now. If I was to say nita, I'll teach tomorrow, I'll say nita. Then the tense will be ta. And then if I taught yesterday, then I'll say nilifunza. Yeah? Nina na funza. Na, now I am teaching. Nita. Tomorrow I will teach. Nita funza. That is now ta is the tense marker for tomorrow. And then if it was yesterday, li, ni li funza. So the subject prefix there is ni. And then the tense marker there is either na, ta, or li. And then the root, the verb root, there is funza, funza. And then of course a is the ending. So the verb root there is funz. This is now I can't go deeper into this because now this will be complex grammar. And then when you say if we have a suffix ending, for example, if I want to talk about you being taught, I would say una, rather you being you being taught. I would say unafunzwa, nzwa. So the root will be nza, funz, and then the suffix there will be funz, and then there will be wa to mean you're being taught. Yes. So that is the verb. That is the verb structure. That is the verb structure. Again, very, very simple. Very, very simple. Another example you can use is atapika. A to stand for he, or rather this sentence simply means she will cook. The subject there is she or he, and then the tense there is ta, which is the tense for later, and then pick is the verb root, and then yes, cook. This is the tense marker. So yeah, the tense markers, like I said, na is present, li is past, and then ta is future. Well, try forming a sentence using li and drop it in the comment section. Drop it in the comment section. So again, very briefly, that is what we've gone through. That is what we've gone through, and that is again very, a very basic thing you need to know in the verb structure in Kiswahili: subject prefix, tense marker, verb root, and the suffix. And the suffix, again, the suffix is not necessary, but you can use it if you want to. The next thing we want to look at are the questions. How do you make basic questions in Kiswahili? And the negations. So we want to look at the questions and negations. I don't see questions, so let us continue. I don't see a question here. Let's continue. So the questions and the negations. So there are particular words that I used to. Now there are two ways you form a question in Kiswahili. One is there are particular question words that I'll tell you in this session, and then there's the intonation. For example, you can just take a basic, a normal sentence and you change the intonation and it becomes a question. For example, ninafunza. Ninafunza. if I use that intonation, it is a statement. But then if I change it and say ninafunza, that becomes a question. Yeah. So, and then there's again, like I said, that is a one way of making the questions. Another way is to use the question words like nani, nini, wapi, lini, gani. So that is just an example of question words. Je, yes. Nani, unaitwa nani? When you're talking about basics of introduction, unaitwa nani? What is your name? Unaenda wapi? Wapi? Unaenda wapi? Where are you going? Where are you going? I've talked about gani. Unapenda kipindi gani? What program do you like? Unapenda kipindi gani? Je, utakuja? Je, utakuja? Will you come? Hii ni nini? Hii ni nini? What is this? What is this? So like I said, for the questions, remember for the questions, you can either just change the intonation, or you can learn the question words. You can learn the question words and use them for the question. Yeah. So let us talk about negation. Negation in Kiswahili. Another very basic grammar that you need to know. Negation. To say not to or to make a verb negative, we use prefixes like si, ninasoma, sisomi. Anaimba, haimbi. So you see ha and hatu. Haimbi, hasomi, hatusomi. We don't read. Sisomi, I don't read. Hasomi, she doesn't read. She doesn't read. Well, that marks the end of our session today. We've talked about so many things under the basic Kiswahili grammar. We've talked about the noun classes, and I've mentioned there up to around 12 to 15 noun classes, but I was able to just go through a few. If you're watching the replay of this live, let me know your favorite noun class. And then there's also the subject prefixes. We've also talked about the subject prefixes, that is a, to, wa. We've also talked about yes, those are subject prefixes. We've also talked about the verb structure. We talked about the tense markers, and we've also finally talked about how to form questions and how to negate in Kiswahili. Now, since I can't see any questions in the chat, please, if you watch the replay, you can just ask your question there. You can ask the question there. And thank you so much for joining me today in this session that we've talked about the Swahili grammar. And I hope that you've learned something valuable, and you're also going to feel more confident in your Kiswahili. If you're watching this replay or this live, make sure to like and subscribe and share the live, and drop a comment if you want a part 2 of this. You can also follow me on LinkedIn as Diana Kabaka, and you can also follow me for more Kiswahili tips and learning content. And again, before I go, keep practicing, keep practicing, keep practicing. That is the only way you get confident in speaking this very, very beautiful language, which is Kiswahili, Thank you again for joining. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe. And do not forget to like this live, and tell me which has been your favorite part of the live, and let me know what you want me to cover in the next sessions that will follow. For these lives, do you want me to talk about which other section do you want me to talk about? Is it grammar? Is it literature? Anything Kiswahili, I'm good. I can talk about anything. So just let me know in the chats what you think, what you'd want me to talk about, which one, or rather, even if you want me to make a video in any of the many grammar things that I've talked about today, again, do not hesitate to let me know. Do not hesitate to let me know. Yes. So again, I'll also like to know what are your reasons for studying Kiswahili? What are your reasons for choosing to study Kiswahili? Okay, yes. So that has been a very in- intense lesson today. We've learned about basic Kiswahili grammar. And yes, Kiswahili grammar, or rather just grammar particularly, is never very simple. So listen to the take your time, listen to the live, take your time, listen to the live, and uh yes, I'll be here waiting for questions. I'll be here waiting for questions for what you need more clarification, or if you need a particular video for a particular session in the live. Again, I'll be here waiting to take you through them, and I'll be more than glad to make a video for whatever question that you have. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon and for giving me your time, even if you're watching this replay. Thank you so much for joining me. And it is your best Kiswahili teacher on the world in the world, tuning in from Kenya. And yes, do not forget to subscribe. Do not forget to like and share this live so that it can reach more people. Thank you for joining me. And again, I'll see you in the next live. Do not forget to subscribe so that you can reach more people. And do not forget to share. Do not forget to share. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Asante sana. Asante sana. Thank you so much. And happy new month once again. Heri za heri njema za mwezi wa Agosti. Happy new month of August. And may it be beautiful for you. May it be everything you want it to be. And kwaheri. See you in the next one. Do not forget to subscribe.